Welcome to episode 2 of The Last Quarter. I'm Haley Jordan.
And I'm Jake Toppen.
And today we have an exciting agenda for all of you. What's going on in sports this week? Over 40 NFL players are sitting the 2020 season out. A couple of those players might come off as a surprise to some of you. Also, we're going to be breaking down the NBA. 88 games, 22 teams, one campus in Orlando. Also doing the same for the women's NBA. And then after that, we have a very special guest who will be visiting us. Bendu Yeaney, 5'10", from Portland, Oregon. She used to be an IU basketball player and transferred to U of A last season. So this will be her first season coming up. What will your play be in the last quarter? Jake, let's get started with over 40 NFL players sitting the 2020 season out. Original thoughts on that really huge statement?
It's kind of like predictable at this point because the coronavirus is just, it's just getting bigger and bigger at this point because, we're not taking there are leagues that are taking precautions, but the NFL hasn't even started their season yet. So I think it's good for the guys that are deciding to sit out because I do think it's a huge decision to make for them because, you're either making a ton of money, like Patrick Mahomes, $503 million to the guy smallest contract in the league, which is a couple $100,000. So these guys that aren't making as much as the bigger players, it's harder for them to make that decision. But a few of the players have decided to sit out, and a few of the Colts players have decided to sit out so far too. Sky Moore, the linebacker, Marvin Tell, the cornerback, which is kind of like the biggest one so far. But there's only been 3 Colts to sit out so far, so we'll see what happens with every other NFL team.
Yeah, there's a list out, and, it's changing every single day because the players have a little while to opt out. I forget when that window is, but they do have a window of time where they can decide if they want to stay, if they want to go. But I think the number one surprise for me, I do not speak French. I hope I do not butcher his name. I spent 10 minutes trying to learn how to pronounce this in my best French accent. Laurent Duvernay-Tardif, the Chiefs' starting offensive lineman. It's his 7th season in the NFL, and it's shocking to me because he was the starting lineman, but a lot of people who know him personally say that it's not a surprise because actually this guy's a doctor. He's originally from France. He's a working doctor in Montreal, and he told ESPN he always knew he'd have to choose between football and the medical field. And, this is a pretty big time to choose the medical profession over football, especially when football's so up in the air. A really cool story about him is in college, he would work late night shifts at the hospital, and then he would head to the locker room, get a couple hours of sleep, and he said guys would be kicking him awake in the morning, get up, we have practice, let's go. That's crazy.
That's awesome.
What a hustle. Honestly, med school, I feel like for somebody who's not an athlete is already a challenge in itself. But for a guy who's not only going to play in the NFL, but who's going to be starting and who's going to be on the winning Super Bowl team, kind of a flex.
You're a doctor and you just won a Super Bowl ring. So hey, works out.
He's got bank coming from here. So good for him. That's all I can say. A quote I found from him that I thought was just extra touching to me was he said, "I cannot allow myself to potentially transmit the virus in our communities simply to play the sport that I love. If I'm to take risks, I will do it caring for patients." How touching. Like that's just so sweet. He is obviously super good, and for him to opt out just to care for others, and right now he specifically is working with COVID-19 patients, I think that just speaks about his moral character on a completely different level.
I know, and that takes a lot. Especially when you have the type of caliber of a team that the Chiefs have to potentially win another Super Bowl this year, and he's like, I gotta sit out. He literally took the step to put himself in a situation that will help others as well. So props to him.
How do you think Andy Reid and Pat are feeling about this?
I think, obviously he's an important person on the team. He's on the O-line, but they'll be okay without him. They'll adjust. They have Patrick Mahomes on their team, so, and Andy Reid's a great coach, so he'll figure out what to do.
Also, just to add to that, not a problem, it's a great thing that he's doing, but to add to that stress, I guess is the word I'd be looking for, Damian Williams from the Chiefs. He's the Chiefs running back who led the team in rushing last season, 498 yards. And he scored 2 touchdowns during the Super Bowl. He's out too. He was like, see ya, don't want this virus.
Yeah,
Chat
but
later.
that's okay. I think they'll be fine in the running back situation too, because they just drafted I can't say his name, Clyde. I can't say his full name. He's from LSU. He's a rookie. He'll be good for them. So they'll be fine in the running back department.
So you're confident in that. Okay, that's good to know.
Confident in the rookie, yeah. I'm confident in the rookie.
All right, so we've got the Chiefs covered. We had to cover them because they're, the most prominent team right now coming off that win last season. But a team that kind of shocked me with opt-out players is the Patriots. They have had 8, which is way more than any team has had in the NFL. Has Tom Brady leaving the franchise made everyone else want to leave? What do you think?
I don't think that has anything to do with it. The Patriots are they're a very, very good organization, and I don't think players are just going to sit out just because the main player for the last 20-some years has left for another team, along with, Gronk retired, but then he came back. So they've kind of the Patriots definitely taken a hit this past year, probably the biggest hit their team has taken in so many years. But I think they're fine, but the players sitting out, it's not because of Tom Brady leaving. I touched on it last week. Dante Hightower, the linebacker, who's one of their best players on defense, he decided to sit out for the season, and he's a great player. But I don't think it's because Tom Brady left. I think he's making the right decision too. So
yeah, and I think I agree with you. I think these are very personal decisions. I don't think it really has anything to do with, my team might not be as good this year, I'm going to sit this one out to avoid humiliation. I think it has nothing to do with that. And out of the 8 guys on the team, on the Patriots team, a couple of those guys, they were even uncertain to be on the initial 53-man roster. So it's not like the majority of them were prominent names who everyone's going to be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this person's sitting out. So, that makes it a little bit easier, I think, for the Patriots organization.
Yeah, it's game versus life.
Game versus life. I love that. Game versus life. I'm going to put that in my Instagram bio. Game versus life. Let's talk about the NBA. I watched this video last night, and the title is Breaking Down the NBA in 2020. And I thought, oh, this should be good. And the video was like, and there were logos everywhere. There was flashing lights, and I was just so overwhelmed. They packed all of this information in 90 seconds. I watched it 3 times because it was just ka-chow, ka-chow, ka-chow the whole time. And amazingly enough, in 90 seconds, they managed to explain how breaking down the NBA is going to go. So you obviously know how it works. How about you tell everybody else how it works?
Are you talking about the NBA bubble?
Yeah, what's going on there? They're in Orlando. What are they doing?
Well, right now they're finishing out the last few games of their I think it was 6 games that they're playing, 6 or 8 that they're playing for the regular season, and then I'm pretty sure it goes into seeding and playoffs. So there's 22 teams. Not every team in the bubble is going to make it. So it'll be obviously be regular seeding the playoffs, and then they'll get to the playoffs, and they'll play a normal playoffs regular seeding and everything. So the Bucks will be the number 1 team in the East. The Lakers just secured the number 1 seed in the West. So there's really no home court advantage this year. So you never know what's going to happen because they all have to play in the same spot. So it'll just go into after they're done with their regular games, it'll go into seedings. And then it'll obviously just go from that, regular from then on until you get to the NBA Finals.
Right. And so I think you did a beautiful job explaining that because a lot of people were confused. They're like, what is going to happen during this short season? 88 games, like I said earlier, 22 teams, and they're all in a bubble in Orlando. And here's the kicker. Once you lose, you leave. So if I'm on a team that's losing, I'm going to get my ticket to Disney World and call it a day. So, Jake, who do you think are going to be the top 4 teams?
That's tough because there's so many good teams I feel playing right now. The Pacers are playing great right now. The Raptors are playing great right now. They haven't lost to the Lakers in 10 straight games, dating back to I don't know when that date is, but they haven't lost 10 games to the Lakers. So in the East, I'm gonna say the Bucks, even though they just lost to the Nets, which was the biggest upset. It was plus 27 in betting. So it was one of the biggest upsets, but I'll take the Bucks in the East and then the Raptors, but a close third would be the Celtics in the East. And then the West, I'm going to go the Lakers, the Clippers, and there's so many good teams in the West. There's so many good teams.
Maybe?
Lakers, Clippers, and I mean the Nuggets are playing great right now. Bull's playing insane, and Michael Porter Jr. just put up another 30-piece last night with Jokic. So I don't know who's going to win the West. The West is just so much more competitive. I feel like the Rockets are good too. The Thunder are a sleeper team for me, so I like the Thunder a lot too. But if I'm picking 4 teams from the entire NBA, I'm taking the Lakers, the Clippers, the Bucks, and probably the Celtics or the Raptors.
The Raptors. Okay. Yeah. And I'm also considering the Pacers. They're having a really good run, and I'm going to watch the game today. 4 p.m. Pacers play the Suns, and I think that's going to be a really good game to watch. And it's going to be the first time that I haven't had a Zoom meeting that's been during a game, so I can actually sit there and watch the whole thing and not have to scroll through Twitter and catch up and see who's scoring and what's happening. So it's going to be very exciting to, for once, be on my couch screaming at my television yet again.
Yeah, and TJ Warren for the Pacers, who they got for who they traded from the Suns for cash, or traded to the Suns for cash. Sorry, excuse me, I'm stuttering. They traded cash to the Suns, and the Suns traded TJ Warren to the Pacers, and he put up 53 points the other night, which is insane because he's not like a guy that puts up that amount of points. And then he put up like 30 the following night. So who even knows what the Pacers are going to do? It's good to see that Oladipo's playing, but
yes.
I don't know if it's just like I'm excited for the Pacers, but I don't know if this is like just kind of like a stretch where they're just kind of on fire, or if it'll go into the playoffs and like they'll actually have a good like run at the title. But it's going to be tough. The East is competitive too, but I'm going to stick with the Raptors and the Bucks for my 2 teams from the East, even though the Pacers are playing well.
Yeah, and I know they're playing in Orlando, but do you think for our internship we'll be able to do some coverage on the Pacers somehow?
I mean, I hope. I don't know where we can't really go. I mean, if we get to go to Orlando, we can't go in the bubble, so
we cannot go in the bubble. We are not allowed in the bubble.
Just stand outside the bubble and just
knock on it. Hey, we're here.
Like we're here, we're just interns trying to get in,
Well, Wish TV has their own Zoom account, and I was on this morning with Coach Tom Allen for Indiana football, and there they were just sitting there, Wish TV, the little black box. And so I would assume it's similar for media day, since they're not letting anybody in Orlando. So I wonder if we'll at least get to be a part of that and sit in and listen, which would be really cool, just to kind of see what a media day looks like from a very professional perspective.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that. And also looking forward to interning with you. That's going to be very exciting.
It's going to be fun. We got paired together again.
Together again. I just keep running into you. Yep. Hey! Hey!
How you guys?
Bendu is here in the house. Very exciting, very exciting. Bendu Yeaney, 5'10", from Portland, Oregon, visiting us today. Bendu, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Oh, we're fantastic. What time is it over there on the West Coast?
It's 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock. You're up early for us. Thank you for being here. All right. So I don't think a lot of people watching know this, but the 3 of us actually have had class together. Jake, tell everybody about that.
Yeah. So in the fall of this past school year, 2019, me, Bendu, and Haley, we all had sportscasting together with Galen Clavio, our sports director. And we got put in a random group for a panel discussion, and then we all just became friends. And then we got put together again for another assignment, and we just became more friends. So it was cool. It's amazing how one semester of college can give you connections and friends, especially if like they're on a sports team like Bendu on the women's basketball team, and then us two obviously just students just in the media school and all becoming friends. So it was pretty cool to connect and be in the same group for that panel discussion.
Absolutely. And Bendu, we always knew you were a good speaker because you're used to media, right? You're used to everybody bugging you after a really good game. And so I was like, yes, when we got the list, I said, yes, let's go. We have a real life athlete on our squad. This is amazing. Yeah. I'm going to start just spitting out your stats at you. Don't know if that's awkward while you're sitting right here, but I'm going to.
All right.
She appeared in 76 games at Indiana, made 69 starts. That's a really huge resume. And then this part, not your favorite, ruptured your Achilles in the NCAA tournament. Can you walk me through that game and what led up to that?
I mean, this is a crazy thing. They think I tore it in the Texas game, actually. They think I partially tore it then. So, I mean, during the Oregon game, I didn't really even warm up or anything. I was just like, okay, you know what? My foot is hurting, so let me just, like, sit down until this game starts. So I didn't even warm up or anything like that. The first half, I was playing pretty well. I think our team was playing pretty well. Oregon was, one of the best teams in the country at that time. And then the third quarter, I think it was just halftime. Me sitting down too long. After the third or during the third quarter, all I heard was a snap, and I knew it was done. It was done for. Try to get up and walk because I was like, I'm on national TV. I can't be a punk. I gotta walk it off. Try to walk that thing off. Ooh, I couldn't walk. So I was like, yeah, this is gone. I gotta sit down and I might have to recover from this. But I mean, it was a nice recovery. It was just scary at that time because my family was, that was the first time we played in Oregon for
Right.
my first time in my career. So it was just kind of scary because my family saw like my nieces and nephews and things like that. But I mean, that's the game. Injuries happen.
Oh my gosh. I can't even imagine yeah, because that was, you're on your own turf. You're to represent
Yeah. So
Indiana,
I was
you're on your own
feeling good.
turf.
I was like, whoa, we back home. I'm good. But I mean, it was still fun being able to play against Texas and Oregon. I had a lot of friends on Oregon, so it was fun to play against them. Even though I got hurt, it was still a good experience.
But you're
And you,
healthy now.
Yep, I'm healthy now.
Good.
So
Good. Sorry, Jake. What were you gonna say?
no, I was just gonna say, and you fully recovered from it, correct?
yeah, I am. I'm fully recovered. I'm looking for a good year this year. So if I get
Yeah.
to play, we just figuring that stuff out.
Okay. And we know you as a player. And tell everybody where you're at. Tell everybody where you transferred to.
Yeah, I transferred to Arizona, which is a little closer to home, and we play in the Pac-12, so I'll be able to come home a lot more and see my family, and they'll be able to fly out to a lot more games.
Go Wildcats. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's certainly exciting. And I cannot wait to see what you do there. Obviously, we're going to miss you here in Indiana. I miss when I'd be on the sideline. Hey, what's up? So won't get to do that anymore. But, we can watch you from afar and always support you. But
Exactly.
I want the people to get to know you as a person too. So
Okay.
what's your major? What's your future profession? We all are dying to know.
All right. So my major kind of changed because I went to a new school. They don't really have sports media, so I'm doing sports and society here in general studies. But ultimately, I want to play professional basketball at the end. So that's like my first goal, and then after that, I want to be a broadcaster or do something still inside sports. I could do anything on the media side or anything like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured it'd be something with media, given that, we were all thrown together in a
Yeah.
group.
I mean, also I want to try a little, shoe, me and shoes. So I might do a little thing with shoes on the side, but I don't know. We'll see.
That was my next question for you is, you're a sneakerhead. How many pairs of shoes do you have? When did the obsession start? Were you born with shoes on? How did that work out?
Honestly, I didn't start becoming a sneakerhead until 6th grade. I used to steal my brother's shoes all the time, and I was like, you know what, these is nice. So then me and him, since we were the same size, we was like, you know what, we should just, add our shoes together. So there was one point that we had like about 360 pairs. So we had one for almost every day, and then we had to sell them a lot. So when I went to Indiana, I had to sell a lot of my shoes. So we ended up selling about like maybe 150 of them. And then now, the shoes I brought to Arizona, I got probably about 50 pairs over there. But I mean, the collection keeps growing, so I'll get a new pair probably in a month or so.
What's your favorite pair?
Oh, I don't know. I got some heat in my closet. I got some heat. Off the top of my head, I'm gonna say the Fearless ones. I just got those about not a month ago, like a year ago. And those are probably my favorite pair because they're still clean and they're easy to clean. So, like, if I get mud on them, I just put some, like, water on it, and it just comes right off. All the other shoes, they have, like, suede and stuff. It's so hard to clean.
Oh, my gosh. I can just picture you, like, on the plane to Arizona. You have, like, 2 suitcases with your stuff, and then you're like, hey, here's, like, 6 suitcases with all my shoes. Got to bring the shoes.
Yeah, no, I had to ship my shoes. I had to ship them. I had, like, a big box because I was like, I can't even fit these in my my backpack or my suitcase. My parents get so mad because I had to ship, like, 2 boxes. They're like, you don't need all these shoes. I was like, yes, I do.
Yes, you do.
Yes, I do.
Yes, you do. And don't ever let anybody tell you different. Yeah.
Exactly. They got to match my outfit, So.
A shoe for every outfit for every single day. Well, you need 5 more pair if you want to.
Yeah, no, we cut it down, so we don't have like 360 no more. So I mean, he still has a good amount. Like, he probably has at least 200. My collection is more like 150 now because I leave some here at my house and then I take some with me to Arizona. But I'm gonna buy more. So.
How many siblings
Do
do
you
you have?
resell those?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Jake, you first.
Sorry, I just don't know. Do you resell those? Do you resell your?
Yeah. So I resell a lot of them, so that's why I could pay for like the other ones. And so like when we sold them, we probably made about like a good $6,000-$7,000 off of shoes.
That's crazy. Yeah, well, you probably keep them in very good shape too, because if you're a sneakerhead, you keep your shoes in good shape.
Yeah, we keep them in boxes. We only wear them a couple times, and we put them in the box.
Yeah, I swear that one time we did that panel discussion, I could be wrong, but I feel like you wore like black Jordans. I don't know what ones they were because like
black. They probably were black. Honestly, I don't know. They probably were black. No, they were tint. They were the platinum ones. They weren't black.
Yeah.
They were like off white.
Yeah, because I remember like in our panel discussion, you had that like jacket on, and you like had black pants and black shoes or whatever color they were.
Yeah, they was a little like off white type thing. I remember.
Still nice. They were still nice, though. They were fresh.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I can only hope my shoe closet is as awesome as yours someday.
No, you got some heat in your closet. I seen you on the sidelines. I'm like, okay.
My arsenal of TV lady clothing. Yes.
Yeah. You got some heat.
Like, do you have any siblings that I feel like you have a big family?
Yeah, I got a pretty big family. So I'm the youngest in my family, and I'm the youngest of 13.
Of 13?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay. How many brothers? How many sisters?
So I have 4 sisters, and the rest are boys.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I had no idea. I was just making a guess based on you saying your whole family was watching you play. 13.
Yeah.
That is cheaper by the dozen plus one. Wow.
Yeah, so a lot of them live in Oregon, but some of them live like all over. So I have family like all over. So my sister, she lives in Chicago, so she came to some games too. And then I got like people on the East Coast and whatnot. So.
Oh my goodness. And are any of them athletes as well?
They were at one point in time, but me, I took over that. So it's me.
You're like, step aside.
Yeah, so I had like two of my brothers, they played semi-pro baseball for a little bit, and then after that, when they had kids and stuff, they stopped that. So I'm the only one in sports.
Good for you. Holding the family name up high. That's amazing.
Of course.
You took over the shoe game and the athletic.
Exactly. I got the drip.
Kind of reflecting on your years back at IU, Terry Morin, she's a celebrated coach. On a scale of 1 to wipe my tears, how much are you going to miss her and the rest of your teammates?
I'm going to miss them a lot. I mean, I don't know. I don't really cry that much, but it's up there. I still talk to a lot of them, but everybody knew I had to make a decision for myself, and that's really what it comes down to when you're at this level. You got to make decisions for yourself, and they knew that. But they're good. They're a good program. They're going to make it far. Like every year, they always excel. And this year they probably would have made it to a Sweet 16, probably farther. They had a really good team, and they have everybody coming back next year. So I'm excited to see what they do.
And whoever will replace you on the court.
Man, Grace Berger was doing her thing. So, yeah. Shoot, hey, she replaced me. You don't need no more replacements. You got Grace Berger.
Grace Berger. Yeah, she is awesome to watch. I mean, obviously you carried number 1 really well at Indiana, but yeah, Grace is up and coming, and she was impressive last season. So that's good that she's kind of, stepping into your shoes. Although,
she's stepping into that role. I mean, she's being the leader. When I was there, we were trying to coach her up to be a leader, and seeing her on the court last year, I was proud of her just because I was kind of like her little, leader when we were like on practice and stuff like that. So just seeing her like change from her freshman year to her sophomore year, it was crazy. And I was so excited for her.
Oh, that's awesome.
Who's gonna be the new hype person on the sidelines for IU? Because you learned to be that hype man because you were injured, so you got to. Yeah. I saw you.
I don't know. You're gonna have to ask them. I don't know. We're gonna have to see. Honestly, maybe some of the newcomers. They're gonna be some of the newcomers being hype man because I don't know if a lot of their transfers are gonna be able to play this year. They have to go through the transfer waiver and stuff like that, like I do. So you're gonna have to see if they get back or able to play or not. So maybe one of them, but I don't know. They're gonna have to. They can't change. They can't use my dance moves though. That's all I can tell them. They cannot use my dance moves. Those are all mine.
They won't have your dance moves or your shoe game. They can't.
Period. There you go. I
That's
had the best shoe game there. Period.
Period. We need to trademark this podcast right now, right here. Nike, if you're listening. Adidas, if you're listening.
Yeah, no, my Adidas shoe game was nice, and I don't even wear Adidas like that. That's why I was like, "Oh, I'm impressed. I'm impressive."
Oh my goodness. Okay, so now you're in a plane all the way over to Arizona. What's that looking like for you? I know with COVID, it's been really rough for all athletes.
Yeah.
Are you guys practicing? How is that looking? Just kind of give us the rundown of what's going on.
So I was supposed to actually report in May, but COVID was not messing that up. So right now I'm actually home right now. So I went to Arizona for 2 weeks just to get my physical and things like that done, set up my house. But right now it's kind of really like conflicting because of the fact that a lot of schools are kind of working out and stuff, but we can't because we're in the hot spot. So we just been doing a lot of home workouts, but we're able to go back next week and start actually doing workouts. But a lot of our workouts are going to have to be outside just because it's safer outside than it is in the gym. And we got to go through phases, a lot of phases. And, everybody – we have a whole team coming back, so everybody's kind of used to everything. But, like, the newcomers, as in me and this other transfer, it's going to be a little different trying to get used to the system and, like, not even be able to, like, really work in like we usually were going to be able to in May. But we're going to have to work in a little faster, which is fine, but it's going to be interesting to see how this year plays out.
COVID testing often, I assume?
Yeah, we are testing every single day. From the time you walk into the gym until, they're always going to put the little temperature thing on your head and make sure you're good throughout your workout and things like that. But they just try to keep us safe, and we have to wear masks when we work out. And still be 6 feet apart and try to do things like that. But it's but they said we can't get it through sweating. So that's the bright side of everything, that we can kind of be close, but not too close.
God bless you. Those COVID tests are awful. They stick it all the way up to your brain. My goodness. And
yeah. See, I just got my blood drawn. We got my blood drawn when I was coming back home, but I'm not ready for the nose one. The nose one is going to send me out. So I'm going to have to get prepped for that.
You'll get used to it, but I love how they're, I know it's kind of that they're making you guys do that, but in a way it's like, yes, this way we can have a season. Are they allowing you to do extracurriculars or hang out with other friends outside of basketball? Or are they just kind of keeping you in a bubble?
So when we go back, we gotta be in the bubble. So we're gonna be like an NBA team in the bubble. Technically, we only gonna be able to hang out at certain places. With like me, I'm gonna have a roommate, so she's not gonna be on the team, so that's a little different. But like with everybody outside the team, we can't really hang out with them. If we do, we have to be at a very far distance, just because we don't want any type of exposure. But we're going to be in the big little bubble. There's only certain places we can go for. So like our conditioning is going to be on one field, and football players don't have access to that, or like any other teams don't have access to that. And then our gym is only for us. So, and men's basketball, obviously. So that's going to be like our little bubble. And that's it.
Okay. Wow. That makes sense. So that's like basically the women's NBA. That's what they're doing.
Yeah, basically.
They are in Bradenton, Florida, which is about 2 hours away from the NBA guys out in Orlando. So they started their season off on July 25th. Playoffs begin sometime mid-September. Bendu, who's your number one team that you want to see do well?
That's tough. I can't say the number one team because my friends are all spread out. So
yes.
I'm going to stay on my friend's team. So we're going to go with the New York Liberty because Sabrina's on that team and she's one of my good friends. We're going to go with, the Seattle Storm. They're a pretty good team, and, they won it all, I think, the year before last. And then I'm going to go with the LA Sparks because I got another friend on the team. But a team that I actually think is going to be surprise a lot of people is the Mystics, because they don't got their whole team. They don't got, their star players, and they're doing pretty well. So those are my 4 teams right now.
Great. I agree with you, especially about the Seattle Storm. They look like they're doing awesome. So I think they're going to really make it to the end. So I agree with you there. And what I find is most interesting about the women's NBA right now is there's only 12 teams. So they're like the only league that gets to really have a season in a way. Because, for NBA, they had to chop them up and say, you can't play, only the best of the best. I love how each women's NBA team gets a shot at this.
Yeah. No, it's definitely a good thing. I mean, I think they should have more teams, but right now, in these circumstances, it's better that way that they only have 12 because of the fact that you got to keep them all in the bubble, and there's only I think there's 144 of them, so it's easier to keep them in the bubble than if you're an NBA team when you have 32 teams in one little spot,
And you have to keep everybody corralled like cats, making sure they don't,
Exactly.
they don't go out at night or anything. You got to keep them all locked up. A
Like
couple of the teams
Lou Williams went out and got in trouble.
Yeah, exactly. They're adults and they have free will, but come on, if you want to play basketball, stay in the bubble.
I think women are a little bit smarter than the men in this situation because you have so many jokes going around Twitter about who's going out in the NBA bubble, who's going to get caught in the NBA bubble, and then the WNBA players, they're chilling. They're not anything dumb. They're just a lot smarter.
I mean, but a lot of them are moms too, so they have their kids there so they're trying not to, expose them to anything either.
Yeah, that's very true. And I mean, obviously the NBA, like they all had to leave their families for that bubble. So
yeah, so that's a little different sides about it. It's like their mothers and the guys are like, oh, I got free time. I don't got my kids.
And a lot of them are young, really young too. I mean, a lot of those guys are still early 20s. So
exactly.
Yes. Their what is it? Their prefrontal cortex hasn't developed all the way. Yeah, what's the psychology term? We all know it. I don't know.
No, I know what you're talking about. I know. It's something like that. It's like they don't develop until you're like 25 or 27 or something.
It's not there yet. It's not there yet.
If you got any psychology majors around?
Yeah. We don't study psychology for a reason, everybody.
Psychology is not for me.
Not for us. Not for us. So you're in the bubble. In the Arizona bubble, what have you been doing within this bubble to keep busy other than your workouts?
Man, I've been watching a lot of Catfish. That was like my show. Catfish. I started from the first season to like the 7th season. I watched all of them. And then me and my dog, we've been chilling. We just been doing some walks and stuff like that. Getting my house set up. And then, I came home, so I was able to come home for a little bit outside of the little bubble. So I'm home with my family, just kind of spending time with them. But yeah, just seeing people and hanging out and watching a lot of Catfish when I'm in the bubble, doing workouts, trying to put on more weight because I was a little skinny coming here, but that was it.
That's a lie.
Yeah.
Catfish, dogs, a little more food.
Oh, online shopping too. We did a lot of that.
Oh, yeah. We've all been there.
You said what?
Get more sneakers.
Yeah, honestly, I've been pretty good because of COVID. I haven't tried to buy that many sneakers. Yeah. But now that COVID is kind of getting pushed down a little bit, I'm gonna buy more because I'm gonna be able to go out. I wasn't able to go out, so
all right, Bendu, thank you so much for meeting with us today. It's so good to see you. We all didn't get to have our proper goodbye back in March, so it's really nice to see you and to see you doing so well. Jake and I wish you the best of luck this season. Can't wait to cheer from you from afar. You'll always be one of our favorites. So it was so good to have you today.
Thank you for having me. I miss you guys. I'll see you guys later.
Yeah, thanks for coming and talking to us, and best of luck at Arizona. See you in the WNBA one day.
Yeah.
Thanks. Hit me when you need me.
We sure will. All right. And there you have it. That concludes episode 2 of The Last Quarter. We'd like to thank our guest, Bendu Yeaney, for joining us all the way from her home in Oregon. See you guys next week.